Alright, so what's going on, guys? Today we're finally going to be putting the whole rear end back in the Datsun. So my last video I welded up the diff and it's all painted and got the rear cover on. It's all filled with oil. That's ready to go. It spins real freely, real nice, doesn't bind up at all. So that's good, but here are all of the rear suspension. I mean, everything has been gone through, coilovers, I mean, all the parts, it's all been cleaned, ready to go. I've got new bushings, new bolts over there. I mean, it's taken a while for me. I mean, it's been a minute since my last video, but I've been like getting every bolt ready, everything prepped, ready to go. So yeah, so I can finally kind of do everything at once. Since the last video, I got a new toolbox, so I've been trying to fill this up. You can see I'm missing a lot of sockets, but you know, I'm trying to fill this thing up. Got it somewhat organized. Kind of show you what I'm working with. That's not much of anything. Here's like the wiring stuff, but yeah, trying to get that filled up. Got a whole bunch of new tools on the way, but as it pertains to the car, I've got, if you notice anything about the underside, there's no center blocks. So this car has been sitting on those center blocks in that location for about a year now, and I finally got it on jack stands. It can finally sit on jack stands on its new frame. Since I didn't have good frame rails before, now it does. I can finally put the jack stands on the frame rail and get those center blocks out of the way. And now we can go ahead and put this rear suspension together. And I've got some new awesome rear control arms. I can't wait to show you guys. I'm going to do that a little bit later when we get to that. So those are gone, and we're going to have awesome new ones going in. So not really sure exactly where to start. So much to do, but I'll get started somewhere and I'll show you the process. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the easy stuff. I'm going to go ahead and get the diff bar put in, and then I'm going to get this this rear piece bolted up. Just these 4 bolts on top, and then we'll see what's next. Okay, so the Mustache Bar is installed. Had a little bit of trouble just because these washers, 2 washers that go on top and bottom, they're different diameters for the hole. So the bigger hole goes towards the top, smaller one goes to the bottom. So that gave me a little issue until I figured that out. But now let's go ahead and get this installed here. Okay, so I'm just torquing everything down to spec. I've got the manual up here. These bolts are torqued to 33 to 44 foot-pounds, and these bolts here for this Mustache bar are 54 to 69. So I'm probably going to do 40 on these and maybe 65 on these, kind of more than halfway, a little bit more on the tighter side. Alright, pretty simple so far. Just got all of this torqued down. Now I'm going to go ahead and get the jack, bring the diff over, put the 2 rear holes through the Mustache bar, and we'll get it sitting up here, and then maybe prop it up somehow to get that support across the bottom of it. Okay, so I've got the diff jacked up, and I've got the 2 rear bolts in. I'm gonna take those off and clean them later. Those are one of the few that I didn't replace, but I'll take them off later and clean them. So I've got the front pretty even, and now I'm gonna go ahead and put this like cross member in that supports the diff. I'm gonna go ahead and get that in, but actually I think I have to put the control arms in. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you those. All right, so here is what you guys have probably been waiting for. These are the new rear control arms for the car. Freaking awesome looking. Basically from a brand new company called Apex Engineered. Their link will be in the bio to their Facebook. Definitely hit them up. They're a growing company making a whole bunch of new parts for the Datsuns, all years, and yeah, I mean, this is their, I believe their first product for the suspension, and I mean, just the quality on them is awesome looking. Fully adjustable, comes with all of the hardware you need, and instructions on how to assemble it and how to install it. There were a few sections I got stuck on, and the guy was more than willing to help me out. Even offered for me to call him to go over any problems that I might have. And yeah, I mean, customer support, definitely A+ for that. So it's a lot better than other companies that I've dealt with. So I'll give you a little bit of close up on the control arms here. And yeah, I can't wait to get these installed. So gonna get everything torqued down what they're supposed to, and get the bushings lubed up. The bushings came with the kit. Everything is just provided, so it's a simple install. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get these installed. All right, so I finally got all of this basically put together. I'm gonna show you in a second. I messed with the Mustache Bar a whole lot because I had it in the right way, and then I looked at a diagram online and it was in the wrong way, so I changed it, took everything apart, and then that ended up being the wrong way. So make sure you have it installed like this, so you can use this as a reference. That is the way the Mustache Bar curls, because the diagrams online are wrong. And that costed me about 2 hours. So here are the control arms installed in there, and they look sweet. Super easy to install. Just took the spot of the factory ones, new bushings, went in there real easy. So next thing, I'm gonna go ahead and put the struts in, put the new coilovers in, and then we'll get the rear axles bolted up. So it's almost there. All right, so I got the coilovers threaded on to the sleeves here. So now I'm gonna go ahead and lift these up into the car, tighten down these top bolts, and then we'll get it all put together. All right, so got the top of the coilover screwed in and flattened out. I've got the bottom part on the jack because I just didn't want all this weight on those 4 nuts up there. Probably doesn't matter, but it's a little bit easier to work with on the jack. So this is all sitting in here, and I'm gonna go ahead and bring the control arm up towards me. This long bolt here is gonna go through this hole over on the side, like the spindle pin, and you know, torque it down, and this side's pretty much done. We'll move on to the other side. All right, so the last couple clips you saw, We were tightening in the tops of the coilovers, so those are all in. And then the other clip you saw, we were swinging the control arm up to the bottom of the strut. So yeah, we got probably hard to see, but we slid this this bolt all the way through. The control arms, it's nice. They come with little washers in there. So depending on where you need your wheel to sit in the wheel well, it comes with some real lightweight washers. And then got the bolt down to the other side. And we just need to go ahead and torque that down. But what I didn't get on video was I installed the sway bar in there. So you can see it right in there. And then you can see the new bushing. And let me tell you, the sway bar was by far the hardest part of this whole rear suspension install, because that bushing, I don't know if any of you guys have done it, but that bushing was super hard to get up in there. It was just not an easy job. So I mean, I had like clamps, and I used the jack to get this little piece of metal folded over, and it was tough. But that's usually what happens when you deal with new bushings. So next thing, I'm going to go ahead and put the end links from the sway bar down to the control arm, and I got to tighten that down. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get this end link in there, and kind of show you how it goes. So the washer goes at the bottom, and then the flat part of the bushing goes on first. And then you're going to slide this up through the bottom. And then you're going to put another bushing on it facing down. So you got that on there. And then you're going to put this sleeve. Actually, you're going to put a washer facing down. You're going to put this sleeve. And then you're going to put a bushing with the kind of rounded edge towards the top, and then this is going to go through there. Actually, I forgot another washer, so we need a washer to go on this with the indentions facing up to kind of seat this, and then set this on here, push that through. Put this bushing facing down. Fits in there nice. And then finish it off with a washer facing down like that. And then put the nut on. I did not lube these up before I put them on, so it's still really loose. So I'm going to go ahead and put some polyurethane grease basically where it's going to be contacting stuff. So get them lubed up and show you afterwards. All right, so I've got the end links in. Got to tighten them down still, but next we're going to go ahead and work on the half shafts. Shouldn't be too hard. They're just a little heavy, but basically just a nut that holds it to the diff, and then a small bolt and nut that connects it to the back of the axle. So I'm going to get those in. Try not to scratch the control arms, probably lay a cloth over them, and then it's almost done. Okay, so doing those half shafts were a pretty tedious job, because there's just barely any room in there to work on those nuts and bolts. So every single one takes quite a bit of time. So I'll kind of give you a walk around of everything. Definitely got to pick up some new bolts for that, because I mean, they just look ugly. But that's no problem. Got everything torqued down pretty much. Some of the things have to wait until there's weight on the car to torque them down, but I'll go ahead and get under and show you what everything looks like. But yeah, control arms were really easy to install. You know, I'm not a sponsor for these control arms, so I'll give you my independent review whenever I start driving the car and being harsh on them. So hopefully that's sooner than later. But yeah, otherwise they look super awesome. definitely the adjustability that I needed, and customer support was pretty good. So that's everything. Yeah, like I said, these bolts were really hard to get on and off. I'm sure if you've worked on this before, you know what I'm talking about. There's just no room. Yeah, everything is in. One little thing I might need you guys to explain to me. There is this piece right here that is on my car, and it does not look stock at all. Reach around and get the flashlight. This piece right here, it's got like two pieces of metal welded together, and then nuts that go there. And the reason I know is because when I took it apart, I had pictures of it, and then like there's like weights on the back of it, like that. And I don't know what it's for, and I haven't seen anyone else's like that, but that's what my pictures showed whenever I took it apart. So I mean, the bolt holes line up, and it looked like they went there, but this doesn't look factory at all. So maybe you guys can explain to me what was there originally, and maybe if this was what somebody designed because they lost theirs. I don't know. So maybe you can let me know. But I'm gonna put it back because that's where it was. So that is everything. I appreciate you guys watching. It's probably a pretty quick video because I didn't do a lot of me working on it, so it's probably pretty quick. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Car is almost ready to be on the ground, and can't wait. I've actually got some rims in the box here that I'll probably show you in the next video. So yeah, keep it a surprise. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.